We're live, Coach Bryant. We're live, Coach Bryant. What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Coach Terri Bryant and Coach Bryant, and welcome to Hits and Heels. We live in Lexington, Kentucky. We're both football coaches, and he's a baseball coach, and I'm also a track coach and a former basketball coach. So we coach. We coach. We have a son in the SEC that plays for the University of Kentucky. Husband is a former alumni that played football at the University of Kentucky. So we're all things sports. And so if this is your first time tuning in, that's what we do. We talk sport, but we just have a different perspective because I think we're the only husband and wife coaching duo that we know of that coaches football. We coach middle school. He likes being on his phone, and dagger. That's not a dagger. And and I just returned back from the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches. And so I've been a member, I think ever since the beginning. It started off in Coach Loxley from the University of Maryland who is the founder of it. And while he was talking about what his vision of it started during COVID. A lot of stuff started in COVID because he was just sitting around not doing anything. And I know I've been a member for at least 5 years. And I started off by getting on. They had a lot of Zooms, and they do a lot of Zoom calls. So anytime I get an opportunity to learn more about the game and to hone my craft of the game of football, I try to do that, even though I don't have a better coach than Coach Bryant, because he is the absolute best when it comes to the game of football and his knowledge of the game with his almost 40 years of experience as a coach. And so, but what I do is I just like to go and get a different perspective because I'm a offensive minded coach, and he's a defensive minded coach, right? So because his expertise is more defense, I like to go and just learn from other people that are in the offensive minded, because he really could care less about the offensive side of the ball unless he's stopping them, right? And so that's just a kind of funny thing that we like to share. And so so the conference was in Washington, D.C., and it started off with an NIL panel. But the first thing I went to was a session with Tony Gaskins. And Tony Gaskins is the number one life coach in the United States. And I hired him to be a life coach for me before we were even a thing. And we've been together, 16, almost 17 years. And so it has easily got to be longer than that when I did this session with Tony Gaskins to try to help me to find out how I wanted to show up in the world. And so it was just nice that was a full circle moment for me, that I get to meet someone that was a mentor for me early on in my life. And then from there, there was a session called the Backstage to the Front Stage, and it was with a Dr. Johnny Parker. And he also does things, he and his wife team up. And so of course I fell in love with them because they're kind of like us, where they're like a husband and wife team. He did the majority of the talking in front of the room, but she supported him, and they kind of do things together. And I think they're also relationship coaches, and they tag team with helping people with their relationships. And so that was really, really good. And then I went into a session called The Ways Player Development Can Transform Your Program. And it was a guy named Ed Jones, and he talked about player development and what that means with with how to develop your program and your football program. And then we took a break from lunch, and then my favorite all-time session of the whole conference was the Women in Sports panel that was moderated by Tiffany Dawn Sykes, who is the vice president of something that Virginia Union College in Virginia, right? And so I got to meet Jennifer King, who you guys don't know that she was the first Black female coach to be in the NFL as a full time and in a position. Coach Colette Smith was the very first Black female coach, but Jennifer King was the first full time coach. Okay, so she was with the Washington Commanders, and then she was with the Chicago Bears, and this past season she was with Coach Trey Oliver at North Carolina, one of the North Carolina HBCU teams. Sorry, I forgot which one it was. But Mickey Grace was also on that panel, and Mickey Grace was the very first female FBS coach on a staff, and she was at UConn, and she was on the pass rush specialist for their defense, and I think they got really really well, and now she's at Colorado State as their pass rush specialist. So she's still in the FBS sector, and she's cold blooded, and I like her. And so then we also had Angelica Grayson, which is one of my friends that I've met. I haven't had we kind of met online, and she was a flag football coach, and she is with player development with the USA flag. And then we had Joe Cantonese, who was a high school football coach, and she also is now a head flag with Millikan College. And then we had Jill Gagliardi, and Jill is a DB coach out and a high school coach in New York. And so they were all on the panel, and basically just talking about the rise of women in football and what that means to us, and that type of stuff. So, Coach Bryant, what do you think, Coach Bryant?
Well, it just sounds like it really does. A lot of people may not know who you were speaking of, but the thing is, if you looked at their title and you looked them up, you would know they are the who's making things happen, and it's really pretty cool because every little thing that you're speaking of, you're saying the first, so that means doors are opening for young ladies to be a part of this whole sports, no matter what they choose or not to choose to do. And I think that's pretty cool right there. The one that stood out more is the DB coach, because a lot of times the studying of understanding the game, a lot of times you don't really have to play it. On some things, I would say about 10-15% makes a difference. And we talk about that.
And
I said there's certain
I'm missing
things,
about a 10-15%,
right,
only because I didn't play the game.
Right, because there's no way I can truly understand hockey because I've never played it in a competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why he's skating this way or that way. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that opens up a major of the who and all that. So that's exciting. That's exciting. But we got football still going on, correct?
We do. We got the WFA coming up, the women's tackle football coming up, and the UFL coming up. And I actually met the defense coordinator for I think it's the Stallions. It's the team out of St. Louis, and he was there, and I got a chance to meet him.
So I mean, so in your mind, when you got home after being gone, oh, by the way,
I didn't share us. Nobody's on here. I'm tripping. My bad.
So she's about to share us. So, but they could hear us, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, just nobody's on.
Okay. All right. So what that I like about it is given the opportunity, given the major opportunity to for women to have the opportunity to coach and officiate and qualified. I'm sorry, not just because they're good. Because me as a coach, I'm gonna tell you about yourself a little bit. I'm not a cusser.
You're gonna tell us about
what's up, Coach?
Hey, Coach.
and you can't be weak skinned because if you miss it, if I think you miss it, I'm gonna tell you about yourself because I'm trying to get that next call. Trying to get that
You're
next
trying to
call.
get the next call. Well, of course, I think probably the highlight of being at the conference was the level of networking and meeting new coaches. And so I was really excited because I actually got to meet a coach from a local coach that, I mean, we live right here together, from Georgetown College. I work at Toyota in Georgetown. And then I forgot which session we met. We'll chat that up and figure out which session we met at. Um, and so I asked Coach Clyde Grady to come on because he's at Georgetown College, and we have some people that we mutual people, players that we know. Of course, we're Frederick Douglass, so of course, Neil, who is getting ready to break another record over at their, hopefully this season. And so, Coach, listen, welcome to Hits and Heels. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me on. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So the reason why I brought you on, I was just kind of doing a recap of our the conference that we just attended. So why
Most
don't you introduce yourself and then just give us, some of your maybe a couple of your experiences from the conference.
gotcha, gotcha.
The term of introduce yourself is because where you're at right now is amazing, and people don't realize that. People look at coaching. I've been in it. You got to get a break to be any type of college coach. So
Right,
so
right.
so I commend you on that, and then you're away from your family. So where did you go to high school at?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Auburn, Alabama. So I went to high school at Auburn High School.
Okay,
War Eagle.
okay. Now, because when we do this, I always want to know back. I want to know back and would you like the big time stud there and all that?
I
He
got you. I got
smiled
you.
and
Yeah.
said yes.
I got you. I got you. So yeah, no, I wouldn't say I was a big time stud. We had a lot of those though. We had a lot of those. I was the guy, man. I just never fell out of love with this game of football. It's done so much for me. I mean, that short time at Auburn High School. I had some great coaches, great teammates that were around me. But that taught me a lot about life from this game. And for me, it was being surrounded by those great coaches was inspirational to one day become a coach, and be able to give back, all the things that they gave me, and then also be able to give back to some things I wish I got, from my coaches,
That's
So
it.
that's
Yeah.
that's what got me going, and kept me around this game.
Okay.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Most
Okay,
definitely.
so how long were you a part of the coalition? How did you find out about it? Because I know I just happened to just I don't know how I found out about it, to be honest with you. It might have just been somebody I was following on probably on X, formerly Twitter, because because that's where most of the coaches are. But how did you find out about the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches? What made you join?
Yeah, yeah. So Jeff Owens, D-line coach over at Campbellsville University here in the state of Kentucky. We obviously we as coaches we run into each other on the road a lot, especially over the summer and the springtime on the road. But ran into Jeff at the camp down at UK actually, and he was telling me about the coalition. He's like, man, you need to get in on the coalition, man. It's a great brotherhood, great opportunity to connect, learn, and grow. And he kept telling me about that. I was like, man, what's this coalition? Like, I don't. All right, let me
Mhm.
let me let me look into it. Let me see what it is. And he just stayed on me. He stayed persistent with me about it. We compete against each other, so we talk pregame, we talk after the game, and Jeff would say the same thing again. He's like, man, the conference coming up this year, man, you need to. And I said, man, you know what? Jeff been on it. He's been persistent about this. Let me look into this. Let me see what this is about. And I did my research on it. Much like we would do anything. And I said, man, this is amazing. Like this is something I want to be a part of. This is something that I want to go and experience the conference for myself because I joined I joined on a couple of Zooms, the coast to coast calls, right?
Mhm.
And I saw the information that was being given on these coast to coast calls, whether it was, hey, these are head coaches that are talking about, giving out free gems about how you can one day sit where they're sitting, or it was X's and O's breakout sessions, learning ball, learning, the X's and O's, and not just offense, defense, but special teams as well. Then, I got the opportunity to speak on one of the coast to coast calls. Jeff called me with opportunity, and I said, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And to me, it was it was a great experience because I was able to connect with a lot of the coaches that was on there. And I said, just by doing that, I said, man, I need to go to the conference. I need to go to the conference. Let me go see what this is about. Because these coast to coast calls, if I'm getting all this information from that, no telling what I get from
Imagine you get it from the conference. Oh, yeah.
From the conference. So I booked that and got my membership. And I walked into the conference with, I had an expectation. I've been to coaches conventions before, conferences before, glacier clinics and things like that. But you walk into that, it was a different experience. It was something that was eye opening. You felt like you were at home, especially a whole bunch of people that looked like you, a lot of like minded individuals. And then it was everybody was looking, how can I connect? How can I help you? So it wasn't always I need something. It was like, hey, what do you need, coach? I'm running into coaches, introducing them, and they're giving me, connections that they have here locally in Kentucky that I can benefit from, So I was like, man, I appreciate that. That's, and this coach is on the West Coast, so it was, just a little tip of the iceberg right there. It was an eye-opening event, and it's something where I me and my fiance, we said, man, this is something that we probably can, knock out Valentine's Day and this coach convention the same
Man,
week.
that part. Listen, that part.
Yeah.
So at Georgetown, and you said it, but in case people didn't hear it, what position do you coach at Georgetown College?
Yeah. So I coach defensive backs here. All right. And I'm defensive pass coordinator.
I knew that. I just want you to say it again.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Most definitely.
So when you back in high school and college, you played DB or you play another position?
No, I didn't. So my path is a little different, a little unorthodox. I was offensive lineman back in high school. And then, in college, I did a lot of volunteer coaching, everything from little league to high school, was surrounded by some good coaches there. And I graduated, had the opportunity to, coach at the high school ranks in Duluth, Georgia. And so from there, is where I really kind of got onto the defensive side of the ball. Started learning defensive back play. Then I got my foot in the door in the college ranks as a GA, getting an opportunity to learn and grow there at St. Andrews University in North Carolina. Where I was a corners GA, and then I did that for 2 years, and then after that I took over the entire secondary, my role there as a full-time defensive backs coach. And then Chris Oliver, one of the great NAI coaches in the state of Kentucky, former national champion, he gave me a call to come out here to join him at Georgetown when he made the move from Lindsey Wilson. And for me, I was ecstatic about that opportunity and decided to join him, and came here to coach the corners, and eventually got the defensive backs title here under our now head coach John Perrin. So just that role, I know it's different, but when you take that role, you get an opportunity to learn both sides of the ball. You get to grow as a coach, and you truly get to challenge yourself too. And finding ways to continue to learn the ever evolving game of football. So to me, it's exciting. I love it, and happy that it landed me here at Georgetown.
Well, Georgetown is in the back door of Lexington here, so you have nine schools that you can pull from here.
Correct.
Well, you got one of our best that's come up, of course, is Darius Neal. Which one's Neal? Which Neal is there?
Yeah, got Darius. We have two Neals here. We have two Neals here right now.
You got the two youngest ones, right?
Yeah, correct. The two youngest ones, Darius Neal and Darion Neal.
And Darion, okay, correct. Gotcha. And correct. So and that's a talented family. Devin is we were impressed with Devin. Matter of fact, when Devin was a senior in high school and Ty was in a junior in high school and Ty was a freshman, Coach Bryant wanted Devin was the blueprint for Ty.
Yeah, and their whole family. The dad was an unbelievable running back. Try to get, he was unbelievable. Mom did her thing as
I
well,
think she was
but
a track star.
track star. I mean, not just good, but a very talented family, very talented family. And when Ty Bryant came on to Frederick Douglass in high school, it was like, hey, mimic him, his personality, his academics, and I meant that. And I was very fortunate to coach the oldest one at Bryant Station High School, and
Okay.
then he ended up going to Frederick Douglass.
Okay.
And so with that said, so with that is, where is your recruiting area? Where do you recruit? You go to Egypt, or you just stay very close here in the United States?
Yeah. So my recruiting area is in state is Louisville, the whole city of Louisville. So that's all me, and then also the state of Georgia. And in the state of Georgia, we
Okay.
primarily take a lot of north down to Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and then we're able to dabble in middle Georgia a little bit as well.
Well, I have a follow up. I know I was about to ask you something, but the thing that people got to understand when they think of Georgetown College, you get a degree from Georgetown College. That's a heck of a degree.
It's
It ain't easy. I've done mine to UK. I don't know if I'd have got one in Georgetown. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Because and that's got to be something, because they're thinking it ain't Kentucky, it's Georgetown. Then also they get in an academic part. Do you ever find that be negative a lot of times, and they don't realize how hard the academic is?
Yeah. So like you said, Georgetown is one of the best academic institutions in the state. We Georgetown's been ranked at one of the the top schools in the state when it comes to job placement. For that reason, because the academic workload is no joke. But I think one of the qualities Georgetown does is they do place the resources here for our student athletes and our students, to be successful in the classroom and assist them, in some areas where they may not be as strong. So
Right.
Georgetown also has a high admission standards as well. So 3.0 to get into Georgetown. So it kind of weeds it out a little bit, when it comes to finding some students that can handle that academic load. But I think with, of course, the structure of our football program, with the study hall hours that we require, the weekly academic checks that we require, and then also the resource that the institution itself provides, from tutors, writing centers, our professors. Being a small college, the office hours. Our professors do a phenomenal job of working with our student athletes and assisting them in the ways that they need. And we found that as long as our student athletes are applying themselves and, reaching out, getting the help, from these resources that are provided here for them, most of them see a lot of success. And then, on top of that, I would say, the alumni here, right? So I know you talk course load, okay, I'm a student here at my desk, I'm doing my work in class. That's great. But, once you get that degree, to me, that's where, you see a lot of the Georgetown alumni come in and really complement that degree, because we have a lot of players get a lot of opportunities because of the connections they have from alumni. And we tell our guys that hey man, you got to network, you need to go out, you gotta find opportunities, within your field. You got to start that now, right? And we've been doing these things where we have alumni events, in Louisville, in Lexington, across the state, where we invite the football alumni back, but we also invite our players that are from that area to show up as well. We had a young man from Louisville showed up to the Louisville alumni event, and he was able to leave with 2 opportunities, internship and a summer job. So where he has options to choose from. So the workload is tough, but there are resources put in place to help our student athletes be successful, as well as when they do get that degree in hand. There's a strong alumni base that can help connect those athletes, with opportunities.
Coach, our son is at the University of Kentucky. Of course, it's the SEC, it's D1.
Yeah.
But we see a lot of players, because we do coach, that are just D1 or bust. How how do we get players and even families to change that whole perspective of being open to a Georgetown college, which probably has just as much opportunity after football at Georgetown College than as the University of Kentucky? What do you think we need to do in order to change that perspective? Because I think a lot of kids are missing out on opportunities, especially now with the transfer portal, by not going to by passing up an opportunity like Georgetown College. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm gonna follow it up. I know it's a long question. Apologize for that, but it's sort of like there's a few kids that I know that plays for certain schools, not just UK, and they would blossom there, but they'll go to these other schools and walk on. And I just to say they're a part of something, then the next year
they're transferring.
They're transferring out, and they lost their opportunity. I know it's a long question. I hope you can figure out
what I'm asking.
I got you. And I think I'm with you. And if I miss something, just point it out for me. But for us, as far as educating, the athlete, the parent, I would challenge them to truly go and look at, the division breakdown, right? You have, your Division I breakdown of FBS, FCS, right? And then, Division II, we like to throw ourselves NAI in there because we are a scholarship, football program at the NAI level, and then you have, JUCOs and D3s as well, and, JUCOs honestly are, some of them, they rank up there with the D1s with, the talent level and, some of their scholarship packages as well. But, I think it takes some research, self-educating, some time to sit down with the family, pull up the divisions, educate yourselves on what those schools are, what they can provide. Can they provide athletic scholarships, or is it only academic scholarships? Are they partial scholarships? Are they full scholarships? And I think what you will find is, when you go through that process, that you'll find a lot of these smaller schools can put a package together that can have the ending balance stating a 0 without a loan, depending on, what your financial status may be on your FAFSA, how much grant money you may be, also, academically, what your grades are, because that can also help you receive some grant money from your state, especially here in the state of Kentucky. I know
the keys,
keys, KTG, SEOG grants. You have all these different.
I don't even know them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's the funny thing about that, coaches, is this. I've been doing high school for a long time,
right?
And I say this all the time. Somebody help me. You can put any name you want to on it. If you ain't got to pay it back, that's a scholarship.
That's a scholarship. That's a scholarship.
You call it whatever you want.
However they put it together.
Correct.
If you don't got to pay it back, and you don't have to take out no student loans, that's what it's all about. It's about getting a free education.
And the reason why I brought up the academics, because I'm quite familiar with Georgetown. When I coached at Paul Lawrence Dunbar here in Lexington for many years, we had a lot of our kids that go there. That's how I figured out the academics, because they would come to me back in the day and be like, Coach, man, this is hard. I said, no, you just got to get good study habits.
Correct.
That people don't understand. It's not hard. It's understanding, there's a party, but you got to go study.
Correct.
And that's that maturity of it. So also, we're going to go back to the clinic. Okay, we'll make sure you understand. We are going back to the clinic because she came home. Well, first of all, I want to let the people know she didn't come home. She came home, took a shower, changed clothes, and went to the UK girls basketball. Okay, I ain't seen her in 4 days, Coach. I ain't seen her in 4 days. You really missed me, Coach. You missed me a lot.
I got you.
So, I guess, and again, if I'm correct, this past season was what record and what? If you want to talk a little bit about this past season.
Yeah, most definitely. So this last season, we went 7-3 overall. Had some big time wins. through this season, ended the season knocking off the number 10 team in the country, with hopes to get into the playoffs. We came up short with that goal.
Coach, let me cut you off on that.
Sure.
Okay, how come you didn't get in the playoff with a 7-3? How does that work? That level, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I know, but a lot of people that's listening don't know that. How come you couldn't get in?
Correct. So in NAI, so we have what you call art rankings, where you're divided up, into different divisions, basically, right? And in your division, there's schools from another conference that is in that division as well, right? And basically they take the conference winner. So if you win conference, you get an automatic bid into the playoffs, and then from there, they will take the next best. All right. And we came up short because we lost to two teams that were in our art rankings, right? Art division,
Okay.
right. And so that was the unfortunate part of it. Now I know you said with a 7-3 record, how you missing the playoffs? So
That's a pretty good record.
That's tough.
That's a pretty good record.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Now-
good record. Everyone
Now, were
says
those
it's good.
losses early, and then you got the you got the win against the ranked team later on?
Correct. So
And see,
early
that's where I don't understand why they don't take that into consideration, because
Yeah.
you're still building and you're
Correct.
still
Yeah.
you're not going backwards, you're going forward. I don't
Correct.
understand sometimes.
Correct. It's one of those lessons, for our guys. We try to take those disappointing moments, those adverse moments, and turn them into lessons. For us, it was hey guys, look back. In 2023, we won conference. We went undefeated in the Mid-South, went 6-0 in the Mid-South, and there was no question about us making the playoffs or not. All right, in 2024. You go undefeated in the Mid-South, you win Mid-South Conference. There was no questions about if you were going to make the playoffs or not. All right. Now, when you don't win your conference, when you lose 3 games, now you leave that decision into others' hands. And so, we took that mindset of, hey man, we got to control our own destiny. We got to go out here and dominate and prove, why we belong, if we want to be a part of that, that playoff bracket.
Okay, so on your level, how are you affected by the transfer portal? Do you have a lot of key players coming back?
Yeah, we do. We do have a lot of key players coming back. We're fortunate enough here at Georgetown to have a pretty high retention rate with our guys. And we like to contribute that to 3 things. We believe we have championship academics. We believe we have a championship location, and we believe we have championship football. And when you ask a student athlete, what do you want to get out of your collegiate experience? It should be those 3 things. Hey, I want to go to a place where I'm going to get a good education. I'm going to win championships at that place, and then I'm going to be surrounded with resources at my university. Local resources. I can go get internships. I can go get shadow opportunities, jobs, things like that. While living in my dorm or living in my apartment, right here in the town where my college is. So we believe that contributes to it. We had a lot of seniors that we just graduated. I think we were around 30 seniors that we graduated, this season. So yeah, we have a lot of pieces that are leaving the program. But we do believe that we signed a pretty good class this year, and we also had some talent that was already in the program that's getting ready, that got their feet wet last year. Got a chance to play. As a young pup out there, and so now we're going to develop those guys and get those guys ready to go into their latter years of their career. To be able to dominate again in the conference. That's the goal. We got to get back to domination.
I like that, and because a lot of rings, because like I said, I coached a lot of kids that played there back in the day, and they won championship rings, and they would show me because their rings, and I didn't, I had one at UK, so, but with that is players returning and players going right now. How the mix of this coming back, okay, when you got players coming back, okay, and I had a train of thought and I lost it. I apologize.
No
But
problem.
my point is, what is the key? Because I've been very fortunate to play at y'all facility. in high school because we played there at Bryants Station in Dunbar. That's before Scott County got their own field. And with that said, is what is the key of the most biggest selling point to come to your university? Because any coach can say ABC. Why would I want my kid? He has an opportunity to go to this school, this school. What is the big key of coming to Georgetown? And that's a positive thing. I mean,
right. When it boils down to it, championship culture.
yeah,
That's something that it's hard to ignore. As soon as you come to our stadium, like you've been to our stadium before, we've updated it. We put the banners on the
yes,
press box.
I
And
saw that.
Georgetown has, we're fortunate enough to have 3 national championships
Yes,
in program history and 20 plus conference championships in program history. And a lot of our in-state kids are aware of that. A lot of high school coaches have either competed against Georgetown or graduated from Georgetown. And, when kids ask, what's Georgetown like, there's a lot of coaches that can give them that information and then encourage them to come and see for themselves. And I think when kids come see for themselves, especially on a game day visit, they what they quickly see is the championship culture for themselves. They can see it, they can feel it, they can hear it on game day. And when you look at our atmosphere, it's a
nice,
stadium.
nice.
The Bengals used to train there back in the day. But you come there. One of my most memorable moments at Toyota Stadium was in the quarterfinals in 2023 against Indiana Wesleyan University, and you look at the hill, and that sits in the back in the conference center and end zone, and you see all the alumni standing up there on the hill, enjoying their tailgate and doing what tailgaters do, and then you look on the opposite end zone behind the fence where our current students and their
Yeah,
students are, they're outside of the gate for a reason, so and then you look into the crowd, and you see the stands are packed out, and this is playoff football, in playoff football, you guys know that's during holiday season, where a lot of people will
yeah,
Oh, that's holiday season.
but the culture here where you see the fans coming back, the students coming back to watch football at Georgetown, and you quickly realize, oh man, like this is championship football that with rich culture, in winning, and it's exciting. It's exciting to play in. Our players enjoy it. They love it. And they can tell the difference when we go on the road and play in other places, and it's not that same atmosphere. It's not that same intensity, that you get at Georgetown.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Thank you for carrying 223 pounds because I studied that question and you made me look good right there. Great answer, coach. Great answer, coach.
I
Because
got
I mean, you said, I mean, real talk. Because I already know that, and I said it earlier. I'm very familiar with Georgetown. I just had a brain nap. I was about to say his name. I'm at that age now. The coach that won the titles.
you had Bill Cronin.
Cronin, Coach Cronin.
Yeah.
And the first time me and Coach Cronin met against each other, we actually got in an argument. He was at Master Central, and I
Okay.
was at Dunbar, and we're yelling across from each other, defense and offense, and the next thing you know, we become very good friends. And then he started recruiting our kids when he got there. And Coach Cronin, he set a precedent, and like you said, that with the titles ring, and I know. Like I said, 6 of my kids that I coached got the rings, all
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah.
And so I mean, thank you again for making my question look like it was a ESPN question. Da-da-da.
Most definitely.
So, Coach, who is the recruiting coach for Lexington?
We just switched up our areas. I believe our head coach is actually taking over the Lexington area. He wanted to get into that area.
And I don't blame him,
Yep. He wanted to,
especially with Frederick Douglass being there.
Well, let me say this, and I'm not having a moment. Okay, and the blessing part is, God knows, I mean it's very humbling. If you communicate with me, I can communicate you with any kid because I just don't coach here. I mean, I coach
We're connected with everybody.
with all the schools.
Most
When I show up, because my objective is I wanted to watch my son play.
Gotcha.
And I had an opportunity, and she knows the fact to go to college.
Yep.
And I turned it down because at that time I wanted to be around and watch. And then time takes it away because you get older, and I get it. The wife keeps telling me to put my name back in. And I said, "Nah, I don't want those hours. I'm ready to go to bed."
Yeah,
So
I hear that. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
and I really mean that, and I truly do. I hope you take me up on it and tell your head coach to take me up on it,
Yeah, we would
because
like to definitely meet him.
it's not one school in the surrounding
that
area
we're not
of a
connected to.
kid that I don't know. And now I'm even more. I'm doing glycod. I do analyst, not the play-by-play. I'm the analyst person. So I'm at a lot of games, and I saw a lot of kids that I wouldn't have saw if I wasn't doing glycod. Doing the play-by-play, and then coach, what did you see this kid play this weekend? Yes, you need to
Right,
go talk to
right,
him.
right. Gotcha. Definitely, most
I
definitely.
really mean that. I really mean that.
Well, let's get this up. Well, let's okay. So let's go back to DC because I
Okay.
wanted to make sure that people knew who you were,
Gotcha.
and so that when they see
You
your
mean
face,
DC that you was gone for 4 days?
yes, I was gone for 4
Okay.
days.
Okay.
Yes,
Then
yes,
go back to DC.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, even though the conference was off the chain, after the conference was over, I met like 6 or 7 of my classmates that I hadn't seen, and 2 of them I hadn't seen in like over 40 years.
And one of them was doing a
In
little bit too much
DC,
touching.
my boy Eric. But so I had a great time. So of all of the panels, what was your favorite one? What did you get which one did you get the most out of?
Oh, man.
Because there were so many really, really good ones.
You're right. You're right. I appreciated all of them. The making the jump panel, the special teams panel. I would say the head coaches panel.
That was yes.
For me, I thought that one was very interesting. I think a lot of us in that room one day want to sit in those seats. As a head coach, and lead our own program. And I think just the transparency that you could feel that they were given, because they look out into the crowd, and it felt very genuine that they wanted to pour into us and give us the information, give us the struggles that they have already faced, so we will have a plan of attack when we're faced with it, or even, hey man, look, these are some of the things that was successful for me, and all of them had different paths, get into where they were. But to me, I want to say, in my notepad, I'm a big note taker, because I got to pull back out and reference, and when I reference, I want to go word for word. But I want to say that that was my notes from that panel was almost as deep as my notes from the X's and O's sessions. So I appreciate that.
I got a question on that, coach. And my wife is like you. She is a note taking, and she does something that people don't do in 2026. She writes in cursive.
Okay.
And half the stuff I can't read because she's in cursive.
Okay.
And she beautiful handwriting. Okay. I'm not that type of a coach.
Okay.
I will listen and I will write boom, boom down. And I asked her, when you take that many notes, do you highlight it? Because I even in academics, I couldn't take notes like that.
Right.
The wife could write a book based on this interview, and it'd be a major book. So I was not like that. So you as a coach, your ability to coach is you take a lot of notes and you narrow it down, or you just read the whole notes.
Yeah, for me, I'm big on the shorthand. I try to shorthand my notes, and because I want to be able to go back and okay, what were the key points that I want to hit, or that I needed from that note that I took, and then yeah. So I guess when I'm sitting there and I'm listening, I may not be looking, but my head's down and I'm writing. Trying to catch those key points, trying to summarize, and sometimes what helps me is even putting it. Unless, if I'm taking notes on something, okay, they're teaching it using a different verbiage. Okay, I'm gonna write down their verbiage. If it's like, some advice or something like that, I will write it and put it in words that, resonates with me. so I can help, myself remember that when I don't have my notepad with me and can pull it out and reference it. But yeah, so for me, I want to shorthand it and try and organize my notes, by, who's speaking, what panel it is, or what's the topic. And then I'll go back and I may underline, I may circle, I may, box it off, if it's something that's important that I need to remember, so I wouldn't say I truly highlight my notes much, but
Okay.
definitely gonna you see a lot of underlines and a lot of circles in my notes.
Okay. You got something? I got a question as well.
Go ahead.
Okay. I guess the next thing is about when you went to this camp, did you go to the little, what were they, pods? Or we call them pods at school.
They were like breakout sessions.
Breakout sessions.
They had breakout sessions.
Okay, so you went to a breakout session. Did you do what I would do back in the day, and when I went to these things? Did you hang out in the offensive side of the ball in their meetings and know what they're telling you?
Definitely did, and and that's
hey,
been
hold on. Keep that thought, people. That's a coach. He's not going to hear what people already know. He's going to hear what people are telling people against him. That's a coach.
Most definitely, and that's in my younger career. I was trying to learn as much as I can about defensive play, defensive back play. Trying to learn it, and then grow in it as well. Once I did get it, I was trying to figure out, all right, how can I make this technique better, and I'm still doing that. You hear it a lot when you go to these things. Was, hey, young guys, take note. Young guys, do this. And a part of me, was like, hey, man, like, I don't want to give up that young guy part of me. I still want to be that young guy that's taking notes, continuing to learn. Because I heard a coach say, hey, you can have 30 years of experience, but if you're never growing and challenging your philosophies, you're going to end up with only 1 year of experience because you only did one thing for 30 years. So I'm always going to continue to try and be that part of me, keep that young guy part of me of taking notes, learning. Even if it's something that they're teaching that I feel like I'm very confident in. Okay, maybe he may teach it differently to where my kids will pick up on it faster. But for me, my target now at this one, I saw a lot of good special team breakout sessions, and then one of the my goals has been I want to be able to. As a defense guy, I want to step into a coordinator role one day. So I want to be able to manipulate protections, from the offense. And, so I was able to have the chance to go into an offensive line session and kind of learn a little bit about how they break down defensive fronts, things that could give them issues and, issues that they may see based off of pressures and things like that. So was able to pick up a lot of information. But yeah, like you said, it's the art of war. You gotta infiltrate the enemy's territory to figure out what they're doing, so you can, when you come back, how to attack, so
they're always doing something over there on that side of the ball.
Most definitely.
I think the most difficult part for me sometimes was making a decision on which, like there were classes that I wanted to go to at the same time. Yes. And so having to miss something, I was disappointed because it was like, I hope I'm making the right decision on which one I'm going to. So I did go to Coach Willie Simmons. I went to his offensive one because I am an offensive coordinator. And so I'm still trying to learn that. But at the same time, then I went to Corey Chamblin, who was a DC. I went to his just so that I can learn again what the defense is talking about, especially in the secondary, because he really teaches the secondary. And I really loved how he taught the DBs how to cover. And it was different from what you kind of taught. Not that it was better. It was just different, what you said.
But that's the reason why I love when you go to these clinics. And I tell her, I want her to go under someone else. Yeah. I do. Like if you go under someone, because I did that. Mm-hmm. I went under other people and to get my craft. Yeah. So how many times last year, going back to your coaching on the sideline, you're on the side. Are you on the sideline or up in the booth?
Yeah, I'm on the sideline.
Okay. All right. This pass interference stuff is getting on my nerves. All right. I mean, I'm gonna be the first bald-headed man to grow hair because of this. All right. And I remember telling an official, I said, why don't you come and teach my kids how to play DB?
No doubt.
Because you're asking them to do something that the human body can't do. To stop on a dime because they throw it short. My wife says it all the time. Just throw it short and make the
that's how I teach my offensive. That's how I teach them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I said throw it, especially if it's short, if we're third and long.
Yeah, just throw it short. Okay. Yeah. How many times has the head coach told you to calm down?
Yeah.
And you yelling at the official? That's a inside information right there.
Yeah. You know, I like to pride myself in, you know, being pretty level headed on the sidelines. Now our head coach is a DB guy as well.
Trade.
Yeah,
I've never had that. I've never had that.
Yeah,
he's brutal.
Now our head coach, he's a DB guy as well. You know.
Okay.
You know, so he works with the secondary along with me. You know, so he's always working the refs. You know, things like that. He's me and him are kind of opposite when it comes to that. You know, now don't get me wrong. I say I'm pretty level headed. You know, but I try to keep myself there. It's challenging. You know, especially in those moments. But you know, I try and let the head coach work the refs, and I try and coach the kid. I try and keep my focus on coaching our guys.
Your head coach is a DB, a defensive guy.
Yes, correct.
So that helps. You don't have to say nothing because you both can't do something.
Correct.
I mean,
he's on.
Yeah, I mean, but I promise you, I can tell the passion in you, man. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's in you.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is.
If you don't say what you want him to say, you probably give him a note. Say this.
No doubt. You know, so it's frustrating. I'm with you on that. You know, with the PIs, I do try to learn in those situations. Like, okay, like ref, why are you saying it? And then you know, there's times where we'll look back on it on Sunday and we're like, okay, yeah, I think you missed that one. I think you missed on that one, Mr. Ref. You know, because I don't know what to tell my kid. You know, as far as what to do with his hands here, or you know, I think he timed it up pretty well. You know, so
we were very fortunate. Last week we had the female that's a college official trying to be a college, and I asked her that, and I didn't try to put her on the spot. And I said, "What are you looking for?" Okay, and I said, she hear me. I mean, I promise you, we can be on the sideline playing against someone else, and their DB gets a pass interference call against them. And I go, man, that was not pass interference. And I forget that's the other team. My mind is still thinking that's not pass interference.
No doubt. So I
commend you on that. And it pays that your head coach is a defensive-minded coach because so with that.
Yeah.
I just want to pause real quick, and I want to acknowledge Coach Felicia Teeter, who's on here. She was one of the female coaches that was at the clinic. Actually, she's going to be our guest for next Wednesday, I hope. Yeah. We're still on for that so that we can get her full story because
when using the word I use, we're
efforting.
She told me it wasn't
we're efforting that she will be our guest for next weekend so that we can hear her full story because of course I was excited about them. Were you shocked about the amount of female coaches that were there?
Yeah, for me, that was a new environment for me because I'll be honest, the most conventions I go to is Glacier, AFCA. And you don't see that many, you know, I know you see some of the, some of the off the field roles as far as like, you know, the recruiting coordinators, things like that. But that was eye opening, you know, and impressive, you know, to see, you know, that amount, then their panel as well, you know, so that was.
Oh, you sat in on the panel?
Yeah, I was able to came in. I made it back from lunch and was able to come in there and I want to catch about the tail end of it, you know. So yeah.
Okay. Well, good. That's good stuff. Well, I was excited about again, I was just excited about being there, but I was excited that I wasn't the only one there. So the very first coaches clinic I went to was a Nike Coach of the Year clinic in Louisville.
Okay.
And Coach Stutes was there, and some coaches that are no longer coaching right now. Tennessee's coach that was prior to this one here, whoever the Texas coach was prior to Sarkisian, he was there. Coach Ed Egeron was there. So I went the year LSU was coming off of their championship win.
Gotcha.
Right. So I had went there, and I was the only female at
Right.
that camp.
Right.
And she actually, it was ironic. She calls me, and and I'm gonna look at the phone. This is a true story. She calls me. She says, "Ty's gonna get offered from Tennessee," and I go, "How's Ty getting off Tennessee? I know they're talking to him. He's gonna get." She's like, "Oh, he's gonna get an offer," because now she tells the story better. Go ahead, tell.
Okay, so I get to the clinic early, and of course I want to sit in front, just like I did at the clinic. I'm sitting in the front, so I don't miss anything, and so that I can stay focused.
Right.
And so we got there early, and the Tennessee coach comes up to me. Of course, he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm a football coach." And so he was like, "Well, give me your story on how you became a football coach." And so I was like, "Well, my son is playing high school. My husband wanted to step down, and when he got a head middle school coaching job, he made me his assistant head coach." And I said, "But what you need to do is you need to recruit my son." And I pulled out a couple of videos and showed him of Ty. And he said, "Huh, he's got some good feet."
Yeah.
Well, he walks off, and 30 minutes later, he comes back. He says, "I'm offering your son."
That's nice.
And I swear, I guarantee nobody else in that clinic got an offer for any of their players in that. But because I was the only female and decided to show up, I was tight. And this is what was ironic about that, was because he said that he did not recruit north of Birmingham. So there would have been no other opportunity for him to even to see Ty.
Right.
Because he said he didn't even look at anybody north of Birmingham. And Knoxville is only what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, a little longer
2
than that.
hours, about 2.5 hours.
Almost
I mean,
three.
it's
I want to say about 3.
almost 3 hours. Yeah, it's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said he never. He said he only recruited north. He didn't recruit north of Birmingham, and I was like, wow.
Right. Yeah, that's hey, running into the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was your biggest, since you've been coaching for a while? How many years?
Collegiately, I started coaching in 2018, getting paid to coach, everything. But collegiate, excuse me, I'm going to go back. I've been coaching since 2016. Started coaching collegiately since 2018.
Okay, so
10 years.
So what was the one? I mean, everybody has a positive or someone you don't think you're going to get, no matter where you're at. And what was the one that disappointed you, that you thought you had? And you came home and you was talking to your fiance. I got him. Thank you for understanding. I've been gone. I got him. And then the next day, he didn't come. Because you ain't got to say no names.
Yeah.
But is it one and one, or you never had either one?
Are you saying as far as like a recruit?
Yeah, a recruit that you knew you had in the bag. Yeah. And he flipped.
Yeah.
Or the one that you didn't know, be like, you come home and what's your congratulations on your engagement. What's your fiance's name?
Yemi.
So you come home and you see Yemi and you go, I got Or you come home and then the other time we ain't getting him. And he comes.
Yeah.
I
would say it's been a lot. I would say that's happened a lot. And to me, that's recruiting. That's what comes with it. It's you go out there, you obviously you want to chase the biggest, the baddest, that you can find, but obviously if they're the biggest and baddest, everybody's trying to grab it, so for me, I would say, oh man, it was a lot. Probably the most memorable loss would probably have been a transfer kid, actually. A transfer kid in the portal. I was able to go and meet with the kid, ironically at the convention in Charlotte. We did the lunch thing and everything. He got the commitment and all of that. And then, got that phone call a couple of days later. Coach, I got another opportunity that I think is, a little better one for me. and the family. And I said, oh man, but it was one of those where you got the verbal commitment and everything. You're starting to get the paperwork loaded up, ready to go, get the housing and everything set. 'Cause, transfers, it moves a lot faster than the high school process. So, for us, we were excited. The whole staff is ready. Big time corner, transfer from the Division I level, so we were like, man, this is going to be huge. This is what we need right here. And came in late. Another bigger fish came in late and, swooped them up. But, that's what
And
happened.
the thing that people got to understand when you coach, and I hope it's obvious to us three. The obvious thing is then you stop recruiting that other kid, and then now, I mean, because you got the one you wanted, and that's the biggest thing right now in 2026 about recruiting, and then they flip on you, and now you're gonna lose the other kid, because you stop recruiting him. So, so what was the one? What was the one that you didn't think you was gonna get? Did you have a story of a kid that you didn't think you was gonna get, and he said, "Coach, I'm coming."
Yeah. I would say even this year, it was a kid out of Georgia, very talented kid. Had some other schools that was recruiting him in that process. He actually has some connections at UK. Has some family members that played at UK. So was familiar with the land, and he made the decision to come to Kentucky. So that was, I would say this year, that was probably one of the bigger ones right there. Getting a kid out of state. Who has some in-state schools. He's a defensive back. Yeah, he's a defensive back safety.
I'm gonna look that up, right?
Yeah. You could definitely find. You'll definitely be able to figure that one out. Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, it was exciting landing.
I love it. Thank you.
That's good stuff. Well, Coach, I did actually just thought I would just bring you on just to get a recap. I didn't think we'd do a whole show with you all here, but I'm glad we did. I appreciate you coming on.
No, I mean that because in right down the street, y'all K-State, the success of a lot of young people getting the opportunity to still play a game they love, and aspiration is always when you're 7 is playing in the NFL,
right?
No matter where you go, the aspiration is to do this and that, and to give people the opportunity. Then have yourself and other coaches, your head coach, to be a part to help them grow as men.
Right.
And that's I know that for a fact. That's the biggest thing, because our son at University of Kentucky, he went from this little to what up, pops? He goes on campus as a young boy, young man, and then when he finally leaves, he's a man.
Right.
So so anyway, this is what I do. Hold on, I'm doing this. Is what I do. This is Hits and Hills. This is my wife's show. I thank her for allowing me to be a part of it. I always leave, not to disrespect the guests, but let her go one-on-one with the guests before y'all will hang up. Coach, we will be at some games when we can.
Love it.
Okay, love it. I mean that, and I'm proud of y'all. But again, y'all got to change the way you get in the playoffs. 73 is playoff material. That's playoff material.
No doubt.
So, Coach, it's very nice talking to you. It's very nice getting to know you, and wish you well in your marriage. And I'm telling you, it's nothing like when you find that right person. There's nothing like it.
Thank you.
That support. Trust me.
Thank you. And I appreciate those words, most definitely.
All right, Coach. I'll let you hang out, and then y'all close it. But much blessing and good luck this coming season.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right, go Tigers.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach, who is your, if you could sit down, since you're a DB coach or defense, and you aspire to be a defensive coordinator, who is the coordinator that you would like to sit down and pick his brain?
Oh man, it's quite a few. Where do I start? I think Flores in the NFL. His name is obviously a big time name. He just got his new contract and everything, but with this, how exotic he is on defense, with giving all these different pictures, these different looks, I would say he would probably be the top choice. To be able to sit down and learn from him and his system, and just kind of see what he sees, and to kind of also find out what I need to do to get to prepare myself for a coordinator role.
I thought that they did a good job, or maybe we didn't have enough time. I think sometimes the sessions, especially the sessions with the head coach with the making a jump, I felt like that needed to be a little bit longer so that we can ask more questions exactly about how to um, for young coaches that want to make the jump to a head coach. Obviously, you can't just go from a position coach and then to a head coach. More than likely, you have to go into that coordinator position
Right.
first. So I think I would have liked to have had more time with that at the
Right.
conference. I think
Right.
to get more, to be able to ask more questions as far as like what that process looked like, and who they. I don't think I got a chance to really like ask them like, okay, well, like you said, who did y'all learn from?
Right.
Like, who were your mentors?
Right.
Who do I need to go back and look at and pull up film on YouTube for to to kind of learn what that looks like. And yeah, she's my girl Kelly, she and I are both Dallas Cowboys fans, and she said Brian Flores, Tomlin, and she also said Steve Wilkes at the DC, as far as just people that we were looking at. Because even for me, as an offensive coordinator, um, it's it's hard not to look what the McVays and stuff are doing, and the things that they're doing on offense. I think, and of course, when I was here, Liam Cohen was here at Kentucky,
Okay.
and he said that I can sit in on this room, but because I work at Toyota, it was difficult for me to be able to get off to get to their training so that I can kind of learn from him before he left and went back to the NFL.
Right.
But he was definitely somebody that I wish that I would have taken advantage of. I guess you just take it for granted that these coaches are just going to be here. And he
Right.
was one and done, came back and was gone again. And I would have never had guessed that he would be a head coach right now.
Right.
You know, and so I wish that I would have taken advantage of him. So, Coach, I'm gonna let you. This is gonna be my last question. So, the reason why I started Hits and Heels, of course, was because there's no female football coaches, and I had a friend that was also a football coach, and she and I, in our conversations, were you, second to none, because there was nobody else that we could talk to as female coaches. But what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity on a platform. Is there anything that you've ever wanted to say publicly that you've never had a platform to say? I'm going to give you this opportunity at this time before I let you go.
Okay. As far as publicly regarding a certain
Anything,
topic, or
anything.
man, that's on the spot right there. Man, don't know if I just have any like unpopular opinions or
An
anything like
unpopular
that.
opinion
But
or words of advice, or
okay.
maybe words to live by, or a life lesson that you learned. I mean, it could be anything. I don't care, because normally I don't do anything political or I don't do anything controversial on my show.
Right.
Obviously,
Right.
it's real bland, but
Right.
this does give you the opportunity to say something that might be off the cuff if it
Right.
needs be.
Uh,
We don't do a whole lot of
I got
drama.
you.
We
I
don't do
got
no
you.
drama on my show.
I got you. Well, if I could just put some positivity out there, for
Let's go.
me, I would just say, man, chase, chase that passion, chase that goal, that dream, and never stop chasing it. Anything's obtainable. Keeping God first, in your life when it comes to it, and just staying persistent, and also block out the noise. Block out the outside noise, or I think you should do it this way, or what you're doing is not right, what you're doing is wrong, because it's your life, it's your autobiography, it's your biography, what you want it to be. You get to write the chapter, and I think that's the beautiful thing about the life is, we get to say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to pursue. And to me, that's living. Is pursuing what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you feel complete. At the end of the day, and to me, that's your passion. That's going to be the things that you love. And the lifestyle that you want. So if I could end with that, throw some positivity out there is, hey, don't ever stop chasing your passion, stop chasing your dreams, keep going after it, and ignore the outside noise, keep God first.
So okay, I said that was the last one. So because you just said that,
Yeah.
when did you know you wanted to pursue being a football coach?
Senior year of high school, thought the idea and everything. I actually sat down with some of my high school coaches and asked them, all right, what does that path look like? And I went into the education, field, because that's what I was advised to do from my coaches. And so, yeah, I would say, high school. And I think I really got serious with it, around junior year of college. And started doing some volunteer coaching, like I mentioned earlier, from youth league, from high school ball, then graduating and getting the opportunity to coach high school ball. To me, that time in college, volunteering, doing it, solidified, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to pursue. But I want to say the seed was planted definitely senior year of high school.
Good stuff. Well, Coach Clyde Grady, I'm looking forward to seeing where this journey of yours is going to come from. We like this now.
Most definitely, most
So,
definitely.
especially with you being at Georgetown College, because I'm a huge proponent. I love the fact that Ty is local and it's home, and I could put my hands on him. And I think that a lot of parents, if you have an opportunity to keep your child close, I think it's easier to support them. He's still away, but then at the same time, we can still get our hands on him, and he still pulls up in the house every once in a while, and that's a nice feeling as well. And so I think because of Louisville and Lexington and the surrounding areas, even Cincinnati area, I think Georgetown College has a lot of, in a 2-mile radius, you guys have enough talent to pull from where your parents can still be close by and come support and have all of those the support for the kids, because I think that's huge. I think that's the reason why a lot of kids are in the portal is because they get away from home and then they end up getting homesick, and then they don't have the support that they normally have. They thought they wanted to get away from home, or that might have been the only opportunity they got, and so they didn't have a choice but to leave and get away from home. But I do think that that's a huge part of the recruiting process that, for me, I try to tell families to take into consideration that the the reason why a lot of kids are in the portal is because they're homesick. So just be careful about what that looks like,
Right.
as far as the support level. So one coach asked, have you met Sean Woods over at Scott County High School?
Scott County, Sean Woods, I have not myself.
He's a basketball coach. He played at the University of Kentucky.
You know what? I want to say we were at a basketball game, at the Georgetown basketball game, and they did have, I want to say, I don't know if it was a Scott County varsity team that was in the stands watching the game or not, but there was a coach there, and our head coach came up, shook his hand, was like, yeah, he played at UK.
That was probably him.
Okay, it probably was him, so I probably did.
He's got a championship he's got a championship at UK.
Okay. Yeah, I probably did. I probably didn't know that was him.
Who he was.
Yeah. So
well, we're big Kentucky fans, so we know all the Kentucky fans here. But you need to make sure that you know who Coach Sean Woods is. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be at a lot of y'all's games. Anyway, well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, I'm looking forward to next year's conference.
Yeah, most definitely. Me as well.
I won't miss again. The reason why I didn't go last year was because my husband wasn't. He said, "You're not." It was in Vegas, and he was like, "I'm not going to let you go by yourself."
Yeah, yeah. No doubt.
Right.
No
So I
doubt.
got one of my female friends to go. And so then he, I was able to go that way. And I got friends
Yeah.
in DC, so I was able to go. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. And I know this won't be the last time we talk. So
Most definitely.
make
Most
sure
definitely.
the head coach knows that we're going to be reaching out to him so that we can connect to help him recruit the kids out of Lexington.
Right.
And we're looking forward to the success of y'all's teams next year. And Coach, thank you
Gotcha.
so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. One last thing before you go, I want to say
Absolutely.
I spoke to our Douglas kids, and as soon as I brought the name up, their face lit up. They knew exactly what I was talking about. And had nothing but great things to say about y'all. So I just wanted to make sure that y'all knew that, the impact that y'all even had on their lives. They remember you guys and had great things to say about y'all. So definitely wanted to pass that information
They
on.
are always our babies. Like, we don't
Yeah.
care how old they get. We're gonna support the kids that we coach. We always let the parents, and even because sometimes the parents are off the chain, right? But it doesn't matter when it comes to those kids. They're always our babies, and we love them to death. She said, "I'm going to try to make it next year since I live here." Yeah,
Most
absolutely.
definitely.
Kelly was one of my friends that I met when we was there. Coach, I'm gonna end this stream, but don't log
Gotcha.
off, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
All right, y'all. So y'all, thank you. I want to thank our sponsor, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, for sponsoring Hits and Heels every week. Next week, make sure you tune in because I got Coach Felicia Teeter coming on. She was one of the first college women's flag, and y'all know women's flag is the fastest growing thing going on right now. And so, with that being said, we'll see y'all all next week. Coach, don't go nowhere.
Gotcha.